Hi everyone, it's Kathy Zilski. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I have a fantastic little card with all kinds of things going on, and I would say more about that, but I'd rather sing. Shall we? Shell-ebrate good times, come on, do. There's a party going on right here, a Shell-ebration. You see what I did there? Okay, thank you. I had to. All right, let's jump into the products. Here's a look at the products I'm using, and this card was inspired by this charming Shell-ebration set. Okay, I'm going to stop, but super cute. This is a really cute little set, and it's a great entry point for someone who, let's say you want to get into stamping and dies, because it's got the coordinating dies. They're little. Okay, this is not too much to handle, right? Super cute. I'm also going to be using this Brush Strokes Wave Stencil. Now, I've used this in a past video, and I do like to try to use products again, just to kind of show you, other ways you can use things. I've got an assortment of dies here, mostly Lawn Fawn and One Hero Arts that I'm going to be using to build this card, plus some masking paper. That blue paper under there, it's masking paper, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But a good set of dies. I've got Copic markers. Not a huge selection, but just colors that I thought might be turtly. 2 Distress Oxides, Lucky Clover, Fossilized Amber, and coordinating sponge daubers. Some Gina K ink for my Copic coloring, and some Studio Katia gold confetti. This is new. I just picked this up, and I just think it's super cute. And, of course, I have cardstock. Some black licorice from Lawn Fawn. I've got Neenah Solar White cardstock. And I've got this glitter cardstock from Simon Says Stamp. The thing that is so cool, does not come off in your hands, people. And I think that is critical for using anything with glitter. And of course, got the Misty. Not going to stamp without it. I'm sorry, I'm not going to do it. No, we've discussed that enough. Okay. One of the things I've been doing lately, I love this grid paper from Simon, but I hate to waste it, so I've been cutting it down when I want to protect my surface because I'm doing some super simple ink blending. Now what I'm going to do here, I'm going to speed it way up because the only purpose here is to get enough color down so that I can make a murky, no, not murky. I want to make a sea pond, okay? Maybe a sea pond. I'm trying to envision where a turtle lives. I'm not an expert. I'm not a herpetologist, people, but I do know that I want to have sort of a warm sea background for part of my card. And so I'm just blending these inks in. Does not have to be perfect, okay? Super basic. And then I'm just going to take my Distress sprayer and tap little dots of water all over to create sort of that undersea effect. Next step, I'm going to score my card base. Now this has been cut down to 8.5 by 4 1/4, and I'm going to score it right at 4 1/4, but I'm not going to fold it yet. I just want to get the score line in there, because I want to do some ink blending on the base itself. Now, this is about the circle area that I want to fill. So I just picked a Hero Arts die that was the right size. And I'm going to go ahead and die cut this out of this masking paper. Now I'm going to pop this little center out, but I'm going to bring it back because what I want to do is just kind of figure out exactly where I want to put the mask. So I've got it just about lined up here. I've already taken the backing off, and you can use anything to mask off the edge. The whole point of this is just so that I don't get ink to the edge of the card because I want to have this little bit of margin of white showing. So any masking material will work. I just chose to do it this way. So I'm going to tape down my stencil, and now I'm going to just start adding some ink. And here's the thing, with this card, I feel like I got a bit of a heavy hand. I did a test version of this because I always make a card before I make a video. I never just roll the dice because I just never know when it's going to be a hot mess, okay? So I realized as I was laying down these colors that I probably could have gone a little lighter. I'm just going to say it. But I do wipe off the stencil a bit in between just because I don't like to get green ink on my yellow pad. It's not that big a deal, but I'm a little anal retentive. So I undid the stencil and just kind of held it in place. And I'm going over it again to kind of get a little more variation, a little more green, a little more yellow, just to get this sort of sea wave thing going. See, it looks pretty good. All right, it's good enough. Now I'm going to take whatever ink is left over on the sponge dauber and just kind of fill it in so that this becomes a little bit more solid. But here I'm going over this with a really light hand. I still think I could have gone a lot lighter on the waves, but I think it's going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. We're all going to be okay. Now I'm just tapping down a few more droplets of water so that I also get that nice little sea bubble effect, if you will. Now I'm going to peel it off. Oh, it's always magic to me when you do that. Look at that. See, this could be a one-layer card. You know, you wouldn't even have to, you just stick your turtle down and you're good to go. Well, I haven't done the turtle yet. Did I mention that I haven't done anything in order? I'm working out of order. But I also got a little bit of yellow ink on the card panel on the other side on the base. So I used my mono sand eraser to get rid of it. That thing works like magic. Now, Gina K amalgam ink. Gonna just stamp this down. Again, gotta love the Misty, because if you don't like your first impression, and I really did want this to be dark, so you can restamp in the exact same place. I went ahead and stamped a bunch of turtles. I always recommend doing this, especially if you're kind of new at Copics and coloring in general. Why not give yourself many chances to fail? Do you know what I'm saying? But I do recommend cleaning your stamps, and I have been showing this in videos, and people love this thing. It's just a little salt cellar. And I keep my tidy towel. This is a Gina K Designs tidy towel. I keep it in there, and the beautiful thing is it just doesn't get as smelly. Yes, you have to wash your chamois at some point, but this thing, this little cellar, I think this thing, well, it's golden. Now, I got the Misty out, so I figured let's do the Shell-ebration sentiment. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And gotta use the anti-static pad. I wanted to show you how much I put on. You can kind of see the powder that comes out. The reason you do this is so that your embossing powder doesn't stick anywhere you don't want it to stick. And I'm going to use clear embossing ink from Simon. Go ahead and give that a good press down. I feel like the anti-static is really important with darker cardstocks too, because those little white powder pieces, they will show up. And sometimes, like you see there, you get a little in places you don't want it. Just take a little brush and brush it off and then blow on it. I'm blowing on it right there. And just keep brushing. Because it makes a difference. You can get as many of the little tiny errant flecks off as you can, and it's perfection. My heat tool is good to go. It's all warmed up. Hit it lightly. And now my sentiment panel is set and ready to go. I'm using this Lawn Fawn Everyday Banner die to cut this panel out. This thing gets, I think this set of Everyday Banners, there's 3 different sizes. I use this as much, if not more than any die that I have. It's a great all-purpose set. So there's my little sentiment. I'm not going to sing anymore. Unless you want me to. You can always let me know in the comments. Okay, time to color. Gonna speed it up because I feel like this video is already going so long to begin with. And again, not an expert on turtles, but I just picked some colors that I thought would work. And, you know, my Copic skills are pretty basic. I am slow because I'm always worried about going outside of the lines, but it's fun. It's fun to learn. It's fun to play. I'm getting better. Slowly but surely, I am getting better. And I think part of the thing is you just have to experiment. And that's why I have these turtles, the extra turtles, just because I did a practice card and I stamped out a whole bunch of turtles until I figured out, oh, these greens work together. Okay. There's also things you can do to become a better colorer. One thing is there's a great class called Copic Coloring for Card Makers. I'm going to link in the info below. It's a class that I signed up for and I'm working my way through. Very helpful. Now here's another helpful tip that I learned from Gina K. Let's say you get your thing colored and it looks great. Create a template with the die. Because when you do, you lay it over, you tape it down, and your die kind of locks into place. And the reason I do this is I hate coloring something, it looks great, and then you basically mess it up because you die cut it incorrectly. And if you're new at card making, I think sometimes getting those dies lined up, it's a little tricky. I'm still not great at it, so I love the idea of a template because, check this out. Oh, my turtle looks perfect. All right, that's just a little tip. Now I'm going to take my square and circle stitched dies, Just tape them down on the dried panel, and I'm going to run that through my machine. And voila, I have a stitched card panel. It's got stitching around the circle and around the edge, and that is the look that I was going for. I'm going to pop this up with some foam tape, and I just cut little pieces to fill in where it needs to be. And now I'm going to get this glitter cardstock out. And again, don't need much. I'm just going to take probably, I want this to be sand. I thought it would be really cute to have glittery sand. And so I'm going to cut about 1 inch off. And I'm going to save all of this glitter paper, people. That's not getting wasted. Going to mark it off and then just trim that down using my paper trimmer so that I've got the size ready to go. And again, nothing's coming off the paper. It's so cool to have glitter that doesn't leave a mess, because I like glitter in theory, still a little afraid of it. I'm not going to lie. Now I'm going to take a little Gina K Connect glue, just smush a little on his head, and grab my little pickup tool and place the hat, because you cannot have a party, a Shell-ebration, without a party hat. Actually, every time I say Shell-ebration, I think it makes me sound like I'm a mush mouth. All right, fold the card down and just use that bone folder to flatten it out. And now I'm going to tape my card shut. I do this a lot because I need to be looking straight down on my card, and I need to have it be closed, because when I go to put a panel down, I'm always afraid that I'm going to mess it up. And I say that from experience. I've messed it up a lot. Okay, getting that in place. Now I just have to kind of figure out the placement of the gold paper. Now this took me a while. I took some dot adhesive, right? Just stuck this down. Not too hard at first, because I realized I placed it too low. And I looked at that and I'm like, no, I want more sand. So coming up again, and I barely moved it. So I don't know if I was thinking I was going to get a different result by doing the same thing. So this time I decided, all right, let's just get the banner on there to kind of see. All right, a little bit more. It's not always perfect the first time. Okay, but that looks pretty good. And now I am ready to get this card assembled. But first, I'm going to take the banner, flip it over. I just want to mark on there with pencil where to trim it, so I know exactly how wide to make it. Now I've peeled off all the backing from the foam tape and placed that down, and you can see that just nice little white margin. I love those little margins. And I've added the dot adhesive to the back of this sentiment banner, but I decided, why risk it, people? Just bring in the T-square ruler and make it straight. Make it so. Love that thing. All right, I've got the same foam tape on the back of my turtle, so he can be popped up at the same height as that little framing square. I'm gonna pop him down, and now he is floating in a delightful sea pond with golden sand. All right. To match the golden sand, this is why I wanted to use the confetti. And I went ahead and placed it around. Now I'm going to speed this up a little because I have been having some problems with my jewel picker. And I've gotten great feedback in other videos. I've actually ordered a crystal katana. Yes, it has been ordered and it will come. And I will be using that in the future because my jewel picker just lost its stick. And everything I'm doing doesn't really help, but ta-da! That is the finished card. Now, what's a finished card without a matching envelope? I've showed this in videos before. I learned this from my friend Gina K. You take a 1/2 inch off each side of a standard A2 envelope. Just flip it, trim it. Open it up, and you're going to have these little pieces that you don't need. Sometimes they'll just fall out, and if they don't, you just tear them off. And this is actually a Gina K Designs envelope. I think this is Wild Dandelion. You're going to need some 1/8 inch adhesive. I just used some score tape, a strong, thin adhesive. You're going to put it on each side of the lower flap opening, if you will. Put it down on each side, trim it, and then go ahead and just peel off the backing. And just like that. Super simple. And fold it up. I like to press from the center out just so it's nice and even. And then to make the envelope a little fancier, take a corner rounder and just go ahead and round the corners. You don't have to do this, it just kind of creates that finished look. Pop in one corner, pop in the next, and now you've got a little envelope that is square and will match your card. And you can use this in the mail. I will say this though, you're going to have to use 2 stamps for sure, and I would tape those sides down. But if you're just giving this at like a party or some other thing where it doesn't have to mail, how cute is that to have a little matching square envelope? Super easy to do, and it's kind of fun. Now I wanted to show you my first sample card. Look at the one on the right. The sea background, I used a much lighter hand, and I feel like it has a whole different effect. So when you are using stencils, just play with it. Sometimes you go lighter, sometimes you go darker, but I will say this, it's still a Shell-ebration either way. Am I right? Dun 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 dun. Woo-hoo, dun 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 dun. Yeah, I don't get out much. But that is my finished card project for today, and thank you so much for watching. I hope there are some things you want to try in your next card project. I still consider myself kind of new at this, and so every time I make something, I'm amazed at how much fun I have and how easy it all can be. If you like what you saw today, please by all means give it a thumbs up, and I'd love to have you subscribe. If you didn't like what you saw, I am so sorry. Okay, until next time.